Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Scarred Thumb Podcast. Is my volume a little low? Let me turn it up. I might regret this, though. Good morning, Deborah. Good to see you. Hope everybody's doing well this week. I had a lovely weekend. It's not over yet, though. It's still Sunday. We can hold on to that weekend just a little bit longer. Today, good morning, King Trust Issues. We're going to talk about one of my least favorite organizations, the Anti-Defamation League, as they have repeatedly tried to smear gamers as really potential terrorists is the only way to, in order to sort of gin up hate, which is what the ADL needs to have. They need to have anti-Semitism. They need to have racism and hate and this idea that there's like a secret, underlying radicalization. You saw this last week with journalists talking about radicalization engines. They need, a lot of these liberal organizations, they need that underneath this like seedy underworld of radicalization that's happening. That's, turning ordinary white men or young white boys into terrorists. Because they could just point to them and ignore all the other issues like illegal immigrants, problems with the black community and their level of violence. They could kind of push all that to the side, and then just focus dead center really on the only group that you're just allowed to hate on with impunity, which is white men, and especially young white men. You're allowed to do that with no consequences whatsoever, because apparently you can't be racist against white people, according to them. So ADL put out a study, and it's amazing, because I have this up here with Elon Musk. This was last week. We went over the PC Gamer articles about Elon Musk and the sort of ridiculousness. Like, he says he's one of the top 20 Diablo players. But this Quake player said he's not very good at Quake, which is totally unrelated to the initial claim. And, of course, they couldn't even say that he was top 20 when he is. Of course, in the byline, he says he's number 19 in the pit. But it's amazing. It's amazing. All of a sudden, PC gamer, games journalists, they can report just the facts. When it's talking about the ADL, that's amazing. When the ADL puts out a statement, all of a sudden, journalists we're just reporting it. We're not gonna talk about it. Of course, this isn't the same guy. Andy Kalk is not. He's a lib journo for sure. Israel. This is so funny. Look at one of the advertisements right on the side, right on the right. Israel at war, help now. Oh, International Fellowship of Christians and Jews. Advertising on their site. Oh, on the top too. Huh. And now now Andy Cox basically just giving a really flowery reporting here. I mean, he's like just talking about it. I'm just reporting the news here on this ADL statement. Essentially, they're just repeating the statement the ADL is making, basically just amplifying the signal that the ADL put out. No interpretation of it, no fact checking or anything like that. And it's weird that I don't know what's going on here. They just have, I guess that's just, Google AdSense here. Just, I want to talk about the ADL. All of a sudden they put up a bunch of advertisements for Israel, the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews here. Huh. Anyway, let's go. And so they just talking about, all right, Steam accused of normalizing hate and extremism in the gaming community in new ADL report. Huh. Hey, good morning, Santiago. Good morning, Jack. The Anti-Defamation League, a U.S. organization that aims to combat anti-Semitism and support Israel. So I don't know if that he just added that in as a way to signal to his friends that maybe pro-Palestine friends that, ADL might support Israel, has published a report alleging that Steam is rife with extremism and anti-Semitism, and accusing Valve of allowing the spread of hateful and extremist material throughout a highly permissive approach to content policies. Oh no. How dare Valve? Which, I mean, look, one of the reasons Steam's, I think, is pretty good is because they have a highly permissive approach to content policy. They've been very, and I think this is really what a lot of it comes down to right here is that they're too permissive. And ADL doesn't like that. It's all about, a lot of this stuff is just about control. It's all about like sort of tying the Steam to stuff that is totally unrelated to Steam and say, hey, this is partially your fault. It's partially your fault that this mass shooting or attack happened. The ADL said this report, again, they'll just go in and say, its report is based on what it describes as unprecedented platform-wide analysis of public data on Steam, including more than 558 million user profiles, 152 million profile and user avatar images, and 610 million user comments. The ADL Center of Extremism found millions of examples of extremist and hateful content, including explicit hate symbols like sonar ads, happy merchants, as well as copy pastas, blocks of text that are copied and pasted in the form of images or long-form writing shaped into swastikas being shared on the platform. Oh my God, no. The clear gap in Steam's moderation of its content inflicts harm by exposing untold users to hate and harassment, enabling potential radicalization. Oh, wow. They could be radicalized and normalizing hate and extremism in the gaming community. This has just been hate and extremism of the gaming community. This has been used constantly by organizations like Take This to essentially fundraise. Let's be honest. They got $700,000 from the Department of Homeland Security, I believe. It was, the DHS, to study this. Yeah, Asmund Gold, I think, has covered it. Yeah, it is ridiculous, and I'm going to go into that too. Understanding the extent of the extremist and hateful content platform is key to fighting the profusion of hate online. So, essentially, what they're doing is they're just using this as a way to fundraise, to ask for funding. They need to make this, like I said, they need to have problems. The ADL needs to fight hate, quote unquote. So they need to sort of gin it up wherever they can find it. This is why they have some sort of AI combing through everyone's users' profiles to find stuff that is bad, essentially. And most of it isn't, which we'll go into later. But I mean, basically, this whole PC Gamer article just repeats what the talking points that the ADL sets out. It's amazing. Same thing with Eurogamer. The only time I think he only pushes back once, that when they make the statement here that they don't allow for it. Organization went on to claim that Steam has no public-facing content policies specifically linked to hate or extremism. However, a quick search reveals Valve's developer and community guidelines do, in fact, explicitly prohibit hate speech, specifically speech that promotes hatred, violence, or discrimination against groups of people based on ethnicity, religion, gender, age, disability, or sexual orientation. So this is the only time that he actually kind of pushes back on some of their claims, which obviously it's specifically a lie that they don't have content policies against this stuff, hate or extremism, when they clearly do. But other than that, he's just repeating their exact talking points from the ADL. It's amazing. When the ADL is involved, all of a sudden journalists just report the facts. They're just journalists. No need to fight against this idea. And this, again, like I said last week, there's no team gamer. I feel like 20 years ago, when sort of like gaming's biggest platform was accused of normalizing hate, that journalists would actually, push back against it. When you had the likes of Jack Thompson claiming that video games cause violence, basically everybody was trying to dunk on this guy. By every video game organization made him an enemy. So he was like, "Oh no, Jack Thompson's an idiot," and they're all like, "There's no links to violence and video games." Now all of a sudden, once Gamergate, Anisa Sarkeesian came in, said games cause sexism, all of a sudden every journalist was like, "Oh yeah, probably we need to do something about it." Oh no, yeah, saving male power fantasies are actually kind of gross. Yuck. And now it's just completely different. Like, all they do is push leftist propaganda, which is ADL does as well. So while they don't specifically want to seem like they're pro-Israel, because I think, Palestine is kind of a rift in the liberal orthodoxy, Palestine-Israel, they will just report, yeah, ADL, yeah, they say it's causing extremism. Yeah, that kind of sounds right. We'll just copy this and throw this out here. No need to do any analysis. No need to push back against the idea that gamers aren't extremists, because they probably believe that themselves. And then the ADL report, I'll get into some of the examples of it, but you can see in the introduction here, this is how they operate. It's August 12th, 2024. An 18-year-old donned a skull mask, black tactical helmet, gloves and body armor with a prominent Sonorad patch, armed with 2 knives and a hatchet. He stabbed 5 people at a rear guard near a mosque in Eskir, Turkey, leaving 2 in critical condition. Prior to the attack, the team also attached a camera to his chest to live stream the stabbing on social media. While Turkish authorities claim the attacker known as Arda K was influenced by computer games, an ADL Center of Extremism investigation found that, in addition to authoring a white supremacist manifesto that glorified mass shooters, he also extensively posted extremist and hateful content on Steam, the world's largest digital PC video game distribution service, developed by U.S. software corporation Valve. Steam is also a storefront for video games and social networking space for gamers across the globe. So, obviously, at no point do they try to make an argument that Steam caused this in any way, that Steam contributed to this guy attacking them. I don't think they can make that. All they got to do is mention them together. And that's how they operate. Like, whoa, this guy also liked video games. This young man played video games like every young man on Earth does, basically. I mean, how many 18-year-olds do you know that haven't played some video games? If you play PC games, you probably play it on Steam. So they'll take the one out of the, I think, 458 million people accounts on Steam, and then say, yeah, Steam was involved in this somehow. Yeah, Steam's bad, sure. So let me go into this. Oh, wait, here we go. Okay, so I'm not going to read the ADL report straight up. I'm kind of worried that if I show off some of the symbols, I still remember Ryan got a strike against his channel for making an ISIS joke in one of his Project Zomboid videos. So I'm a little nervous about trying to show off any Nazi symbology if I'm going to get some sort of a strike for that. So we're just going to go into this and look. So here's a claim they're making. To understand the scale and nature of the hateful extremist content on Steam, the ADL Center of Extremism conducted an analysis of public data, an unprecedented platform-wide scale. So they analyzed 458 million profiles, 152 million profile and group avatar images, and 610 million comments. So this is all the stuff they looked after. They looked through with an AI, by the way. So they found 1.83 million unique pieces of extremist and hateful content, 1.5 million unique users, and 780. So they're throwing out these big numbers here to kind of like make you think, oh my God, it's crazy how much stuff there's on here. Copy pastors or keywords on the platform. So just doing some math, 1.5 million out of 458 million profiles is 0.3%. So out of all these profiles, it's 0.3. And not necessarily these profiles are linked to unique people. It could be multiple people with, multiple fake profiles, anything, but it's 0.3% with these big numbers thrown out. So less than a percentage, just a fraction of a percent of these users make up hateful, quote unquote, which we'll see isn't actually hateful. They, again, try to throw in some dubious stuff to boost their numbers. Of the approximate 1.5 million distinct images on Steam or group avatars evaluated by Hate Vision, 400 and I hate saying numbers out loud. 493,954 contain potentially extremist symbols. Again, potentially is doing a lot of work here. So this is so if you look at it, basically a little under 500,000 divided by 552 million. Again, it's 0.3%. So 0.3% of these distinct images have potential extremist symbols. Because when you look at let's look at what their thing is here. If we zoom in on this here, the top, making up well over half of the quote-unquote hateful images, is Pepe the Frog. Pepe the Frog, which is just a popular, especially on like 4chan, just a popular image and, meme used in the gaming community. It isn't hateful at all. I mean, you could potentially make, like Nazi Pepes, which they try and show off as like, oh yeah, that's Pepe the Frog. The vast majority of these are not going to be hateful. The idea that, Pepe is somehow a hate symbol is crazy. They also say that, Jack, they also say that the Confederate flag is a hateful symbol, which is very debatable. I feel like most of the people using the Confederate flag aren't specifically using it to, target people. Moon Man, maybe. I don't think Moon Man's very popular outside of some of the 4chan type of circles. But Confederate flag, Pepe the Frog, this is how they sort of boost their numbers up. Is they include something that could potentially be a hateful symbol and just make it like that. The idea that vast majority of Pepe stuff is not going to be hateful. So it's just ridiculous. Their numbers are already looking ridiculous. But this is what they do. This is what they do to boost their numbers. Good old poor Pepe. Feels good, man. Guy is come on. Let's see. There we go. And this is like some of their other examples. Again, I blacked out the ISIS flags to make sure I don't to get targeted, but. Look at this account. I fucking love ISIS from New York. Are we supposed to like take this as a serious thing? They just throw it like I can believe Jihad al-Musa might be an ISIS member, or Mahmoud from Syria might be an ISIS. Soon I will have 40 virgin deet to America. That might be fake too. I mean, a lot of this stuff does not seem. Asuna, my daddy, gay from Texas, United States, with like Ben and Jerry's and an anime girl. This is autistic with a reaction time. So these are just goofy profile stuff. Is this like serious threats? I really don't think so. ISIS enjoyer. That's one of my favorite. From Afghanistan. Half of it. These are the examples they throw out. I guess this is normalizing to make jokes. Is normalizing hate according to them? ISIS enjoyer. Exactly. Really, really terrible stuff. Not just teenage boys being edgy. It's a threat to democracy right here. The hate symbol image detected in research. So this is what they did. They couldn't, look specifically at these images. They don't have enough resources to do it. So they're using AI to find stuff, to comb through all of these, 458 million profiles. So of these things, and they think there's a 3% false positives according to their stuff. But I mean, this idea that you can just trust an AI to say like, oh yeah, our AI totally found this stuff. It's super accurate. Developed by a Center of Extremism, manually reviews 1.5 million groups profile avatar images collected from Steam. Was not feasible. Obviously, they couldn't review every single one of them to make sure. There's also the idea of like, all right, if they can train an AI to comb through Steam profiles, could they train an AI to make Steam profiles to boost their numbers? I'm not saying they did, but it seems like it's possible. And really, again, like these examples, like I don't see these people are terrorists, but that's like the reason why they use normalizing. Like if you make a joke about ISIS, are you normalizing hate? And this is the way they try to like just take like edgy humor and try to make it something insidious. Like half this stuff like doesn't seem like legit. These are just people being goofy. 4chan level of humor. All right, and that's it for the slides. But this is what they do with these studies, and it's the same thing they did with the with their like I forget what it was called. They did a study about hatred in gaming, or like harassment in gaming, online radicalization, where they just take a survey, they blow up the numbers, very dubious. Like all right, we like survey like 1,000 people and somehow like 10% of the people are being swatted, which is just an insane number that is clearly wrong. Because how would they know? There's no way on earth. Like if you know 10 people that play video games, you do not know 10 people. You do not know one of them that's been swatted online. There's no way that actually happens. But they hide their actual methodology, so you can't actually look at it, and from there just try and like build as much of these dubious connections to Steam possible. And their overall goal, and let me see if I can find it here. We'll get out of this here. In their recommendations here, let's see. Let me bring it up. Again, they just try and tie. They're getting so much mileage out of Christchurch, where it's like, oh, here's this turkey killer, or the attack in Turkey. Oh, this was another interesting thing from it. So, swastika copy pasta and profile comments. So they're looking at the incidences per day, and it's like, oh wow, like 100 a day are being posted online. 100, it's like a platform as big as Steam, and that's supposed to be a huge problem. If anything, this shows just how small it is. It's just a very tiny group of people. Now let's see. Let's go recommendations, of course. Here we go. Audit and red team moderation practices that close loopholes. Loopholes to evade content moderation on Steam listed above are likely only a few of many bad actors finding to evade detection and enforcement. In addition to closing specific loopholes, Valve should undertake a large-scale audit of how bad actors are avoiding detection and at present and undertake a company-wide red teaming effort to simulate additional ways bad actors might abuse the platform and take learnings from both exercises to improve content moderation. So they need to pretend to be extremist and try and find ways to get rid of it. So essentially just more censorship. Engage with social, and then of course, this is the big one. They always hide it at the last one. Engage with civil society, academics, and researchers. And establishing and updating their policies, Valve should consult the good old consultants regularly with civil society groups, academics, and researchers from a broad cross-section of positions, including civil rights and like us, like the ADL. Hey, you should give us money, Steam. Especially seek out and use their advice and expertise to shape platform policies that may impact experience of vulnerable and marginalized groups. So in the end, it's just a way to shake down Steam for money. If math was easy. Enhanced justice for, I like this, enhanced access to justice for victims of online abuse. Hate and harassment exist online, so they need to make laws often fall short of securing resources for victims of these severe forms of online abuse. You need to be able to sue people easier. A National Gaming Safety Task Force as hate and harassment and extremism. Again, another way to get money from the government here. Guys, we need a task force. We need a space. We need extremism posed for the threats. Federal administration should establish and resource a National Gaming Safety Task Force dedicated to combating this persuasive issue. So, like, we'll get our friends on this. We'll get them jobs, our friends' jobs on this task force, and resource for free. And of course, we need federal government. We need federal funding. We need independent researchers, which we recommend. Civil society, again, you should give us money to ADL to disseminate findings on abuse in this vitally important online multiplayer gaming landscape. We need money, guys. Money. We've got to get more federal funding to the ADL to combat this evil, these evil 0.3% of the people. They might become mass shooters. Who knows? We have no proof of this. We have no hard evidence that they could, but it could happen. So give us some cash. Why not? And this is what all this shit ends up going down to. Just give us money, please. Please give me money. That is the ADL, really in a nutshell. But of course, this. I can't say they haven't been effective at it. Like I said, Take This got 700,000 not that long ago. I mean, with Trump coming in, hopefully they won't be getting any money. I'm hoping. Republicans, they're not always the best when it comes to these. They fall for this kind of stuff too. But I'm hopefully it's going to be better. That the ADL isn't going to will be shut out. Same thing with Take This, where it's not like, hey, let's give people a ton of money to demonize young white men. Is essentially what it comes down to. We're gonna move on. We're gonna move on from this, and we're gonna talk about video games. Thankfully. Right after I just had to take a drink. All right. So, unfortunately, I've fallen into the trap. My brother started playing. A lot of friends started playing. My nephew started playing Pokemon TCG Pocket. And guys, I'm weak. My will is weak, so I have fallen into the trap of playing it as well. And honestly, I think the game is quite fun. It's simple. It's very simplistic. It's got, I like gotcha games. I don't think they're good. And like if I, were to analyze the systems in Pokemon Pocket, I probably wouldn't say they're ideal either. But there is some fun stuff to it. Like the game itself is a simplified version of Pokemon. The TCG game was already as a game seemed pretty simple as well. Coming from Magic the Gathering, it does kind of seem very simple as far as like how you can interact with cards. I haven't spent a single dollar yet. All right, maybe I should thank you for King Trustees for bringing that up. I have not spent a single dollar. No money has been spent yet. I'm not saying I won't, but I haven't spent a single thing yet. And I've had quite a bit of fun with it too. So as far as like the balance, I mean, you can see Pikachu EX is like the big thing. Right now it's the best deck. And when you're playing online, you're going to go against a ton of these. Pikachu EX, Mewtwo EX, Articuno EX. It's just there is a combo right now where Articuno EX. There's a card called Misty, which you flip a coin until you get tails, and you get that many energy. So you could turn one shot, do like 80 damage, and one shot your opponent and just win the game. So like first turn you lay down Articuno EX, you Misty, you get like 3 heads in a row, and you just win the game. It's pretty funny. It's terrible design from my perspective. Just hey, here's this card that I just auto win turn 1. Like if you Articuno turn 1 and Misty and get any amount of heads, really all you need to get is 2 heads to start out, and you've won the game. Which is funny. Like in a way, I like it because it makes me not take the game serious, which I think is a good way to play this game. Like you cannot take this game very serious. It's just not a. It's meant to be fun. It's just meant to be fun, simple game. There's a lot of luck involved. It's not. There is some skill expression in the game, but there's just games where you just straight up lose due to a bad hand, or they get the right draws. They win. The deck's only 20 cards versus I don't know how many regular. I know like Magic the Gathering is like 60, but I don't know if Pokemon is less. There's no energy involved. The energy is just chosen per turn, so you don't have to worry about like how many energy cards versus how many Pokemon. Which, again, having that balance in a deck is a cool deck building thing that they have to get rid of because of the simplicity. But other than that, it's like the games themselves probably last 10 to 20 minutes. Actually, probably like 10 or less. So that's kind of nice, especially for like a mobile game. You could just like do it while you're waiting for something and having fun. Like I've already gotten the badge for 45 wins, so I've played quite a bit of it. And like I said, it's for right now it's fun. The only issue is like after so many times, like 100 matches, you're like, oh, I've seen this deck like 500 times. Well, that's an exaggeration, obviously. 100 matches, I can't see it 500 times, but I mean, it's like, oh, I have to fight EU Pikachu again. Or EX Pikachu again. Oh, I have to fight Mewtwo EX again. Like you just see the same like meta decks come up constantly, and it's just like exhausting. Like they're right now the balance is not in a good place. The basic EX Pokemon are too strong, and like the level stage 2, like your Charizard EX is just too weak because you can't stabilize against this. EU Pikachu EX all he needs is 2 energy. And he needs to fill his bench, and he does 90 damage per turn. It's just so ridiculously consistent that it's really hard to beat. Like I thankfully am able to. This is like a Blaine aggro deck that I'm playing in. Like I said, I haven't paid a single dime, and I was able to put together 2 decks that are pretty decent that can kind of win. It is something that you deal with in TCGs in general, but overall, like I said, if you don't take it super seriously, it's not too bad. I mean, sometimes you have like a bad beat and you end up losing the game, and sometimes it's really satisfying to beat these sort of EX Pikachu decks. So I get the Professor's Research here. I'm trying to dig for Ninetales right now. This is a deck that does well because it doesn't have a stage 2. So hopefully as they add more cards, they can work on the balance. Or maybe it'll get worse. It's hard to say. But I'm able to beat him here. He's got a... Let's see, how does this end? Let's speed it up. I kill that. He kills my... I bring in Ninetales. I top deck the Blaine. This is the best part of like playing card games, is when you heart of the cards, top deck your Blaine, and then kill EX Pikachu with your flamethrower and win. The EX Pokemon are worth 2 points, but they're so strong that it doesn't matter. It's like EX Pokemon right now are dominating the meta. And boom, I win. Victory. So that stuff like that is fun. It's fun when you can EX, when you can beat the meta deck with a kind of budget-friendly deck. Haven't spent a single dollar yet. Got quite a bit of entertainment. One of the fun things about it is the sort of way they do kind of push you into opening packs. That's how they make money. Is by trying to get you to spend money for... I mean, there are some like premium card sleeves that you can get, but unlike, other gacha games, which I guess in some way this is kind of a gacha game, that, they push you into buying the new character. They push you into buying, decks, but you can still play fairly competitively without having to rely on this. Assuming you get lucky and how to focus on just going for a specific deck in a specific pack. But what they do have is I can show me 100. Show me 100 here. But what they do, they have there's sort of normal cards. They're standard cards, but they also have, in a way to satisfy the whales. You can use the standard cards in your deck, but they also have these full art cards that are pretty cool looking, some nice art. They also have these shiny variants, with it's almost supposed to be it's sort of embossed, an embossed looking card. And this is the variants of the EX Pokemon. They have full art trainer cards. So, if you really want to whale and spend a lot of money, you can pimp out your deck with these super fancy cards. But you don't need to use them. Regular Misty does just as well as the shiny full art version. You got the sort of crown rares as well. Oh, and these parallax or these immersive cards are super cool looking. I don't know if they have a video of these immersive cards here. No, they don't. But these immersive cards are very cool looking. Something that you can't have in a normal card. So the card art is very cool. They do a great job of that. So normal people that don't want to spend a ton of money or any money can still play a decently competitive deck. I guess the downside is you're kind of stuck focusing on maybe 1 or 2 decks to be really good. If you want to play a bunch of different decks, you probably are going to have to drop some cash in order to get enough cards. And one of the things that I don't like is the rarity involved in this game, because right now I have 3 versions of this Dragonite. I have 3 copies of him. I have like one Dragonair and no Dratinis. So I don't know how the rarity in this game works. It feels like it's like the opposite of how it should be. Like, how do I not have... So I can't even play this this card because I don't have a single copy of Dratini. And I have one copy of Dragonair, which you can only have 2 max. Oh, yeah, the Gyarados. I posted this... No, where'd it go? Where'd it go? No. Show me the card art again. Should I... Oh, there we go. Yeah, this... I retweeted that. This Gyarados card art is badass. Really awesome. The card itself is kind of awkward to use. Says you need 4 energy. 4 water energy. Original one from the base set packs as well. Oh, did I tell you? Oh, yeah, yeah. You pulled a Gyarados, right? That's awesome. Is it shiny? There is a crafting system, yes. There is a crafting system in the game where after you pull, like, you get every pack you open, you get like 5 pack points. And you can use those pack points to craft specific cards, which I did do in order to make that in order to make this Rapidash deck that I told you about. Oh, that's just YouTube recommendations. In order to make this deck, I had to craft a few cards. Like, I couldn't, in order to get my second Ninetales, I had to craft that. And they're fairly expensive for the common cards too. Like, you need 70 pack points to get a Ninetales. So, like, what is that in math? It's 50 plus 20, so 14. Like, you'd have to open 14 packs if you wanted to craft a Ninetales. Like, I had to craft that. I crafted, I believe, 2 Sabrinas because I wasn't able to pull Sabrina. So, like, the trainer cards, which, the trainer cards you can use in everyone, so it's pretty efficient. But, to get because, I mean, it just sucks to, like, have to keep opening packs till you get, like, a fairly common card, which is one of the downsides, I think, of the packs, because you get 5 cards per pack. So, it's not, in a way that makes even, like, some of the commons and uncommons kind of hard to get. But overall, like I said, I've been enjoying the game. It's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. It's pretty simple. But yeah, if you get too far into the weeds, and like I said, like, playing the games over and over again, I'm like, to me, deck building's the fun part of the game, and they do make that hard to do without spending money, because it's pretty hard to get the cards you want. Apparently in January they're going to add in trading. So I don't know if that's going to simplify it, make it easier to just get, common stuff rather than, like, the super rare stuff. But we'll see. We'll see. Let's move on. I don't have much else to talk about. The other thing I wanted to mention, though, is Blue Revolver Double. They just released a major update. You've probably seen... let's see. I do have the this countdown screen. But this one. That screen, countdown screen, is from Blue Revolver. It's right now it's on sale for half off, 51% off, because it just got a major update. $7.34. Let me play the video that they have too. It's a top-down shmup. They added a new playable character, which is very cool. Apparently 120 hertz is supposed to be pretty cool looking. I do like the electro beats. Yeah, the techno is good. That just came out the 14th. But like I said, I won CC to that on normal. That's a lot of fun. They do have a really cool training mode too. Like if you're not, like, because I don't play a lot of SMUPs, especially at the time, and I'm definitely not good at them. At least, compared to like the guys that like no hit 1cc. But so they have a really cool. It's a fun game. I love the art style of it. Like if you just generally look at the. Let's mute this. If you just generally look at the kind of art style that it has, I think the sprite art and the coloring is very good. It's very. They do a lot of like warm and cool colors, which I think gives a very unique and fun look. The bombs themselves are really powerful. And the art style is nice too. A lot of cute anime girls, like most SMUPs should have. And the soundtrack is actually quite good too. The like techno beat kind of stuff is very nice. So again, recommend it. If you enjoy SMUPs or thinking about getting into SMUPs, $7.34, a very good price for the games. That honestly, that's pretty much it that I have prepared for this stuff. Like I said, I was gone most of the weekend, so there wasn't a lot of talk about, and I don't want to go on for long about stuff. Really, there wasn't a ton of news, so I'm gonna end the stream here. Shorter stream. Well, it's almost an hour. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you guys, and we'll talk to you next week. I'll redirect to Post Zero. It's going to be on Kyle's channel. I'm probably not going to be there. I got some other stuff to do, but I'm sure it's going to be very fun. Very fun indeed. So let me see if let me go get the redirect. I know it is sad, but I'm honestly, like I said, I was pretty busy this weekend, so I'm pretty worn out. Let's see. Here we go. Bye, guys. We'll see you next week.